This is Andi Purewal for ID Boxing. I'm joined by Matchroom's Frank Smith here in Phoenix. Frank, how's life treating you?
Well, good, mate. It's good to be here in Phoenix. Actually, my first time in Phoenix. Looking forward to a packed-out arena here tomorrow night for Estrada-Chocolatito 3.
Hopefully it will be packed out, as you say, and it is a fight which I'm sure will go down as well as the first two. Frank, I asked Eddie this, I'm going to ask you this. To have a bout take place 3 times in a row, it has to be special. What is it about these two that's made this fight so unique and one to remember?
Yeah, look, we weren't involved in the first fight, but we all watched it. The second fight, we were lucky enough to promote that fight, and that was, 12 rounds of all-out war. And I think this is going to be exactly the same. Both of these guys, Estrada and Chocolatito, 2 modern-day legends, and to see it happen for a third time is great to see them. Who says it won't happen for a fourth as well? Let's see what happens on Saturday night, but there's no counting that out as well.
Both fights going the distance in the first two, but do you think this time might end any differently, or are you expecting it to be a 12-round grueling fight for pair of them?
I think it's going to be exactly the same 12 rounds. It's all they know. It's all the two of them know is a 12-round tear-up, and I think we're going to see exactly the same come this Saturday night, hence why we're doing it, because it's the fight people wanted. It's taken a bit longer than we wanted to get it back up and running. A few delays with it, but we're here now, and can't wait for it.
Frank, Julio says Martinez returns against Samuel Carmona. Talk to me about that one.
Yeah, obviously he was originally supposed to be fighting Arroyo. Unfortunately, Arroyo withdrew with injury, but Carmona's a tough test as well. Carmona's been on a few of our shows in Spain, and I think he's going to bring him a tough test. We've all seen what Martinez can do. He's an exciting fighter. Some big fights out there for him in the division as well, but he's got to get through Carmona first, and I think, like I say, it's going to be a tough fight for him on Saturday.
Provided Martinez comes through unscathed, Frank, confidence that a potential Sonny Edwards fight can be delivered next?
Yeah, definitely. It's what we're looking at. Let's see how it plays out. We were looking at it before, it didn't work out, but that's a fight that makes a lot of sense, so hopefully we can get that done.
Emma Williams and Felix cash next year, provided there's no slip-ups for either in their coming bouts. Terrific fight, Frank.
Yeah, 100%. Emma Williams, he's kept active. He obviously beat Conway on the Canelo Golovkin undercard in September. Active again, getting out here. Felix cash fights on December. He's had a bit of a tough year, but he's a great fighter, and I think that's definitely an exciting fight if we can get that all over the line and announced for early part of next year.
Now, Frank, I'm sure during the day before your show kicks off, you'll watch tomorrow's bout over in the UK between Derek Chisora and Tyson Fury. A big task ahead of Derek, but saw today he came in at a near career heaviest and only slightly lighter than what he did in the first Fury fight. Is that just a sign that he's going in there with one intention and one intention only, to try and start quick and take Tyson Fury out?
I think that's the only thing he can do. Tyson Fury's such a good boxer. It's not going to be a job of outpointing Tyson Fury. But I think, the great thing about heavyweight boxing is that side of it is always there. The knockout power is always there. It's a great opportunity for Derek Chisora. I love Del Boy. So I wish him all the best in that fight. And I'm sad I can't be there to see him get his world title chance.
Just on that front, I know you will be supporting Derek. He had a few choice words to say about kind of platforms and the viewership, shall we say. So he said you need to fight on Sky or BT to be able to get a decent amount of viewers behind you. Just get your thoughts on his comments.
That's just Derek being Derek, saying things. Derek's always the same. He's always liked to say things to cause a bit of a controversy. His last few fights have been on DAZN, whether it was the Joseph Parker rematch or the Kubrat Pulev fight as well. So that's just Derek being Derek. I don't read into it too much, to be honest.
So you're not upset with him?
He's a hard person to stay upset with, Derek Chisora. So no, you got to let Derek do what Derek does best, which is does a lot of talking.
Now, of course, just to go back to kind of the Conor Benn situation, Maurizio Sullivan's come out and said that he's hopeful by the end of this month a conclusion will be reached. Looking into it, music must be music to your ears, I'd imagine.
Yeah, look, ultimately we all want a conclusion to the matter, and we want to be able to talk about it in detail, and currently we can't because it's an ongoing situation that they're all dealing with. But yeah, that's positive signs that there's a time frame that we can point towards now, and they've got all the information, and we go from there. So hopefully everything moves quickly as they've suggested now.
Speaking to Eddie yesterday, he's confident Conor will not face a ban, but if he does, it might be a very small one at that. Just want to get your thoughts on Junior's comments that he didn't know about the first failed test for your yeah, your thoughts on when you heard that.
Yeah, I saw he said, but I wouldn't have signed the fight. No one knew about it before the fight was signed. The results weren't out there before the fight was signed. Obviously, it was a matter that was ongoing between the WBC and Conor Benn, and ultimately he was aware about the tests before the fight. But I think we go round in circles with all of this. The focus is now the WBC have got to deal with the situation at hand, and VADA, and they're doing that, and hopefully we can have some news where we can talk about it in a bit more detail soon. And I do believe that fight happens in 2023, 100%.
How damaging has this entire situation been for Conor? And Junior's comments again was suggesting that Conor might struggle to shake this tag from his career as he progresses.
Again, it comes back to the outcome of all of these investigations, doesn't it? It's very easy now to take a position on it without the full package of information. So we have to see what comes of this investigation that the WBC will do now, and that will paint a picture around the truth for people, which currently there's limited information people are going on. So ultimately, no, it hasn't been great for Conor Benn's career, but fighters have been in this position before. Fighters have then been proven innocent, and we have to go from there. So let's again, comes back to the process being played out, and then people can understand a bit more detail around it all.
The Matchroom and PBC relationship seems to be being mended. Frank, Eddie Hearn spoke about Shelley Finkel and him having it outball, kind of looking to work together towards a future and a potential Joshua Wilder fight. Does that give you confidence that we could start to see more crossover fights between the two platforms?
Yeah, look, we've always had a relationship with PBC, especially with Louis de Cubas as well at PBC. We work with everyone in the sport. We don't stop working. Ultimately, if fights make sense and there's fights to be made for our fighters, other fighters, then we'll always work to make it happen. So but it's a good sign. It's good to see that there's a dialogue there and the relationship's opening up. Just like us with Queensberry as well, with George Warren. So, I think it's all for the positive of the sport.
Ladies and gentlemen, please make your way.
Is Joshua Wilder likely to take
next,
next, or would you say somebody else is in the frame to face Anthony Joshua at the early part of next year?
Did you say next? I think unlikely that fight's next, but I definitely think it's a fight we're working towards for the new year. So in 2023, but it's good to have the discussions anyway, and at least, like I say, have the dialogue open between the parties, and then it makes it a lot easier when it comes to those fights actually coming to fruition.
Frank, we'll wrap that up here because Eddie's just walked in. I don't want him to think that you're taking all the limelight off him because you was a popular man yesterday.
I know. He got a bit jealous. So but how often can you hear from him? Everyone talks to him every second of the day. So sometimes you need something a bit fresh from the chubbier, smaller version.
Frank, I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.